Good day, everybody. Top of the morning. Out here on this route. Living these Fritos, Frito-Lays, all that. Woo-woo. I was looking through my notes and I had a topic that I wanted to speak about. And I know this is going to be controversial. And before I go into it, I want to say that each person is responsible for their actions and their deeds and their operations on this plane, manifested physical. But I want to discuss the psychological entrapment placed upon so-called blacks or the freed or so-called liberated slaves. And the topic is the Caucasian European Anglo Saxons creation of the so-called black criminal. I know that's a big pill right there, but bear with me. Now, I have studied and been observing, the operations of blacks, so-called blacks coming out of slavery. And one of the biggest issues was poverty, not having. And this not having actually created what is known as a criminal element, which a lot of so-called blacks adapted and learned from the former slave masters or the slave masters' brothers and sisters that was into organized crime, bootlegging, robbing and drug peddling and all types of what was identified as illicit acts. This is learned behavior. And most of the time people learn things, it's from the environment that has been created or they have been subjected to. Not by choice, but just by the operations of coming into this world. People who are born in different levels, different families, different situations of finances or the lack thereof. Now, after slavery, so-called blacks, in one area was promised some land and a beast of burden, a mule, 40 acres and a mule, to compensate the free labor that they were, and their parents parents was exploited and died under a great heavy burden of cruelty, consisted of kidnapping, raping, murdering, molesting, body members being cut off, being hung, being forced to watch your children being beaten. A lot of psychological things had been going on here, and it's very, very disturbing. And now, years later, the result of those initial actions that has traumatized so-called blacks has manifested. And don't nobody want to take responsibility. The criminals that actually exercise the treatment, the punishment, the psychological damaging and dumbing down, and they're exploiting the abuse. And this abuse took place not just physically, psychologically. It was a crime to read. If you was caught reading, you can get killed, you get whooped. And we know today reading is essential to elevate the thought process. So that was a crime in itself to prevent the former slaves of developing mentally. Why? Because the people that were benefiting wanted this institution to continue on for the rest of their lives, for the rest of their children's lives, and for the rest of their children's children's lives, and so forth and so on. So when the secession took place, some people still try to say that it didn't have nothing to do with slavery. And I'm going to tell you, lies, lies, lies. People don't know that there was two 13th Amendments. And one of the 13th Amendment actually declared that slavery will be eternal or forever continuous operation. That was part of the agreement of the first 13th Amendment. Don't believe me. Never believe nothing I say. Take it into consideration and do your own homework. So that's come to today. Today we have people that are drug addicts, prostitutes, thieves, murderers, all different types of hustling, trying to find a way to survive, trying to, feed their families, trying to be above the financial matrix, try to experience the so-called American dream, but it's a trap. It's a setup. And this thing has gone so out of control that now that we got people that got money, making money, and they have become reflections of the slave masters in their neglecting of their brothers and sisters. I'm not saying nobody owe anybody anything, but as long as we keep on waiting for the oppressors to deliver us from a dilemma that we have the abilities financially, collectively, to uplift our people. I ain't talking about giving nobody enough. I'm talking about just open up a school or two. Follow the lead of Mr. LeBron James. In that type of aspect. Break bread. Help the resurrection of the people. Because the way that it is going through the government system, this process will take several more generations when the resources are here now to make a new way. But I know to make a new way, it takes the development of a mind. Some people think that that's all they are: basketball players, football players, rappers, entertainers, and that is who they identify their character with. That's the matrix. That's an illusion. You're far more than that. But I can, bring that to your attention, but it's up to you to search it out and come to comprehend that. So you can evolve, I seen a cicada coming about of its shell. It also reminds me of the butterfly and the caterpillar, from one state to another state. The best state that we can head to is the involution for the evolution. Set a better president on the planet. Stop faking like we these characters that we have adopted, drug dealers, hustlers, ratchet women, so forth and so on, disrespectful men. This is learned behavior, but we can unlearn it if we choose to do so. And nobody can do it for us, but we got to do it for ourselves. We got to start demonstrating and stop telling our young people one thing and doing another thing. And even if they do go astray, we got to know that we stood and demonstrated that which was beneficial and conducive for them if they would adhere to the instructions and directions of the family village, their fathers and mothers, their aunts and uncles, their cousins, nieces, nephews, that's in the community of the family. See, that's another thing. We think we separate because where I'm from, they from Southeast or they from Northeast. I'm from Northwest. I'm the best in D.C. I'm from Southwest. I'm the best in D.C. That's a part of the mental manipulation and the deception that we have grasped that has actually destroyed us. That's not a part of our culture. Our culture consists of the village taking care of the young people. The rites of passage. The developing from experiences. We go out and learn how to work with our fathers, and the women or the young ladies work with their mothers, learning the responsibilities. These things don't have no significance in these days of time. Those are things of fairy tales that we think, but those are actually the foundation of who we are and what we can become. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this session. Thank you for viewing this morning. And again, psychological damage minds of so-called blacks. It's a direct reflection of the European Caucasians' operation and their oppression. Not blaming them, but we got to take responsibility where responsibility is due. And just like the so-called blacks, Africans, so-called African American, Negroes, we have to take responsibility for, continuously being in the loop of the skullduggery. Continues being in the loop of being bamboozled. We can't keep on saying them, they did this and this and this and that. And continue to, follow their lead, follow the Judas goat. Now follow the good shepherd, the higher self, the crystallized mind. It's within us. And if we keep on waiting for the president, the Congress, the government, all these people in these different parties, some more treacherous than others, but at the end of the day, they all playing the same game. It's just another message from the streets. Peace, love, and grace to all humanity. Wake up, people. Get up and stay up. Shalom.